One thing that I very recently realized was just how important it was to have friends and to be social, not just a few times a week or a few days here and there, but to try to do it as often as possible. One thing that I was always kind of wasn't always very clear to me was how one of my friends was always going out every single day or every single night. He would finish his shift at his job, and every single night, without fail, he would be with someone somewhere. While I, on the other hand, would go out maybe 3 to 4 times a week, either get a cup of coffee or go for a walk or do something social, and I never really had a need to do it more often than that. And what I realized very recently when I had a conversation with this friend was the fact or the reason that he does it in the way that he does it. The reason that he does it every single night and that he is so social like that is because this is genuinely the way to more happiness in life. One of the biggest things that I realized was just how important it was to be social very consistently in order to just have a higher level of mental health. We're not even just talking about the fact that, of course, your social skills are going to improve, your confidence is going to improve, everything social related is going to improve if you spend more time around people. But also, generally, your mental health and your well being is going to be at a very higher level by you just being around more people and more often. There was this course that I watched or whatever went through a few years back from this Yale professor. It was a course on happiness. They did a ton of studies which explained where happiness comes from and put it into actionable steps. And one of the five main key principles, one of the key steps of having more happiness and being a happier person was being social connections, speaking to people, connecting with another person, and just spending time around other people. We humans are just social creatures. And so if you isolate yourself or you spend less time around other people, you're kind of going against your own nature. And actually, that's going to give you some side effects which are not very pleasant: depression, loneliness, and lower levels of mental health. I speak more about this in my course, which you can check out, first link in the description. But the main realization of that I had when I talked with that friend was kind of how his life works, right? Or kind of how his life functions. And when I heard that, I realized just how some people are able to literally live like this through their entire 20s. His life consists of wake up, go to work, spend the majority of the day on his 9 to 5 job, be home at like 5, maybe 6 p.m., and after that, go out somewhere. Doesn't matter where, and doesn't matter with who, just be outside the house and be social. And what I realized about that was that if you lived a life like that, where you went to the same 9 to 5 job every single day, and it was kind of boring, and it wasn't very satisfying, it was doing the same thing over and over again, and you knew that there wasn't really anything to look forward to because you'll probably be stuck in this job for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, what would be the thing which would every single day kind of not just be keeping you happy, but in a way keeping you sane? It would be knowing that after each and every shift, you have this friend or this group of friends who are waiting for you to go out. And the important thing about this that I realized as well was that none of these hangouts were actually that like large in scale. None of them were like going to the club or going to this big trip or anything. A lot of them, or even most of them, were as simple as just meeting up at a park or at a parking lot, driving somewhere, or just sitting in the car all together and just having a chat for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours until maybe 10, 11 o'clock, midnight, and then just going to bed so you can wake up tomorrow for work. And it was just repeating this same process over and over again, where it's kind of the same people and it's relatively the same situations, the same places, but just the fact that it's continuously happening every single day and that that's something social that you have to look forward to every single day, it is the thing that keeps people kind of sane and that keeps people who work these 9 to 5 dead end jobs, it keeps them happy. And once I heard that advice, I kind of thought about how would you kind of transform it into a way of life for a person who is on self-improvement, who is trying to improve their lives. Because in this case, you go to your job, you hang out with your friends at night, that gives you happiness, you earn money on your job so you can hang out with your friends, and it all just goes in circles. The problem with this is that generally it goes, downwards, the curve goes downwards, because what you're doing is you're kind of destroying your sleep, you're probably eating junk food, not really living the healthiest life, and so by the time you're maybe 30 years old, you're probably going to be in the same position working for the same money, except you're going to be fat and maybe a bit sick, and it doesn't really lead to a good life. But if you wanted it to lead to a good life, how would you kind of transform it? And what I realized is that kind of what may be the genuine like path to true happiness or to something very close to it would be to live this life where you're working on some goal, whether it's a business or whatever, it's something that's meaningful. You live this healthy life where you eat healthy, you exercise, you do very healthy habits, and then you have friends around you who all do the same habits. Maybe you all own businesses and you all hang out, and let's say you all work together, right? You group up in one room and you all like work on your laptops, or maybe you're all reading and you all sit at the couch and it's like three, four of you and you're reading together, or you go and you hit a workout together, or you all go for a run together. The essence of this is that you're getting the same benefits as the people who are working 9 to 5s, meaning you're super happy, you're hanging out with your friends, you're social, you're connecting, it's great. But at the same time, you're doing these very productive things, which in 5, 10, 20 years are going to get you to an even better point in life where you're even richer, you're even happier, even better physique, health mentally and physically, you're healthier and better. And it leads to a better life while also maintaining this happiness and fun. I think that this might be, at least right now, what I believe to be kind of the perfect life to try to achieve, or the perfect kind of, yeah, basically the perfect existence where you work towards your goals, you live this healthy, great life, and you also have friends who all do the same thing, who you're hanging out with every single day without fail, who you're constantly around with, and you motivate each other to do better, to achieve these goals better, and to all just have a good time and live the best lives that you can. So I think that this was just some thoughts that I had, a few realizations that I wanted to put into a video, maybe to get you thinking a bit. But I think that maybe this is the life that everyone should try to strive for, or at least this is a life that I will try to achieve. And maybe you'll relate to me, and maybe this video has kind of gotten you to think. But all in all, if you want to improve your communication skills and you want to learn absolutely every single thing that I've learned in this topic in the last 3.5 years that I've been studying it, you can check out the first link in the description, which will take you to my course, which is the absolute best information that I can offer you to improve your communication skills, social skills, your entire social life in the quickest time possible. If you found this video helpful, I think you'll find a lot of value in this video right here. Click on the subscribe button and do the work.